Okay, so in this tutorial today, what we're going to be talking about is importing and linking media. So importing media is essential to Premiere because if it's not here in the Premiere workspace right here, then it doesn't exist in the Premiere project. We have to have media in order to make our setup. Otherwise, there's just nothing there. There's nothing to work with, and that creates a real problem, right? Can't do any work if you don't have any work to do. So we need to learn how to import media. Before we do this, I want you to go to the Canvas course, and right here there is a dogs.zip file. I need you to click on that. Alright, once you click on it again, it should download. So it'll show up, excuse me, it'll show up down here. Let me move myself off real quick. Right here into my setup. If I click on that once, it'll open that folder. Okay? And there will be a folder in there called dogs. Double click on that. So in this, there's about 8 pictures roughly of dogs. That's what it is. So our slideshow is going to be of dogs kind of moving back and forth. All right. Now, we'll need to shrink out of everything for a moment. Ooh. Let me get this crap out of the way. And on your left-hand side in your setup, you should have a folder called Still Shots. Okay. That Still Shots folder will have a Adobe Premiere Pro autosave, so it'll autosave all of your files as it goes. It does it about every 4 or 5 minutes, something like that. It's also got your Premiere Pro project, your current one, the one you saved. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag those 8 images into that folder so that they're in the Still Shots folder. Now, as we start moving along here, you're going to end up with these folder systems that are very complicated. There's going to be a lot of stuff in here, and you're not going to have names on everything, which creates another problem. Videos generally come in with like a sequence of letters and numbers, and it gets complicated knowing which one's which. Okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to make a folder inside this Still Shots folder. So I'm going to right click, new folder. If you're on a Mac, you can hold Control and click. It'll do that too. And I'm going to name this Images. So that folder name is Images. And I'm going to drag all of those images into that Images folder. Now, typically speaking, when I make a project like this, I'll have a folder called Images for any flat images or Photoshop documents that I may bring in. I'll also create another folder called Audio. And I will create another folder called Video. Do that for me, please. So you should have 3 folders, well 4 folders counting the autosave. 3 that you made. Audio, Images, Video. The reason we have these is because it helps to organize. Organization is key. Working in Premiere, a lot of what you're going to be doing is based on how fast you can do things, right? How organized you are is only going to make you work that much faster, which is key. Alright, so I need to import media here. So I can grab this Images folder if I want and hover right over the project panel. That's that bottom left one. And I could let go right there and it'll import all my files right here. So I have my Images folder in the project folder. Let me delete that for a second because there's other ways to do it. I can double click right here where it says import media. And I can find that folder on my desktop and hit open. Let it go. Yes, open all of them. And there are all my individual images. Let's say I want to try another way. I can do File at the top, Import, and then I can find those same images. So however you import it's fine with me as long as you have your images down here. Now when I first brought it in, when I brought that folder in to start with, you saw that it came in with a folder. If I double click on that, it's the same thing. Okay. Now let's take a look at the project panel for just a minute. Down at the bottom you can see some little icons that you can do with this. So the first thing it's got is icon view. That's the lit up blue one. So that's what shows me all these little images here. And for what we're doing here, this works really well. But if you end up with a lot of stuff, the list view might be a little bit easier to work with. The list view doesn't show a picture of it, but you do see more items. Each type of item comes with its own color and its own icon right here. These are still images. So this is what a still image looks like. It has this little file icon, and pink is the color it'll come in as. You can adjust the size. If it's hard for you to see, you can make these bigger or smaller. You can also separate this panel if you want. All up to you. Okay. Just make sure if you make a mess that you reset the saved layouts. Now what I want to do is I want to use all of these to create a timeline. Alright. Inside of these images, if I slide to the right using this little drag bar, I will see some information about these images. How long they're going to come in as. Each one comes in just under 5 seconds. I can move down to see video info, and I can see how large these images are, the actual sizings of them. And all of these images are pretty big images. Okay. If I keep moving down, you'll see other information. Now if you've got a video here, you're going to see all kinds of audio information. You'll see a lot more here to work with. Okay. So let's just start by making the actual project. You don't start a project until you have something in the timeline. And you'll see right here it says drop media here to create sequence. Now there are all types of sizes of video, sets of video, types of video. Premiere does a good job of already guessing what that is for you, which is awesome. So I'm going to grab this first image. I'm going to click, hold, and I'm just going to drag it to my timeline right here. And when I let go, hello, I got a little dog staring at me. Alright, my timeline builds up and I have this image. Now this whole setup is set to this image size. So this whole video that we're about to create is now the size of this dog's image. It comes in naturally that way, and it works for what we're trying to do. Look at the timeline for just a moment. There's a lot going on. On the left hand side you'll see some options that say V3, V2, V1, A1. I'll give you one guess what all that is. That's video and audio. Okay. Your videos can stack as high as you want. It looks like it stops at 3, but it really doesn't, because it'll continue making as many layers of video as you want to have. Okay. Same's true with audio. I saw a video the other day. A guy had like 30 layers of audio trickled down. It was crazy. Now on the right of that, you'll see this little blue slider bar. And because this is a still image, we don't really see anything happening in the program monitor. But as I move this slide bar around, things would change if it was different clips. In fact, if I go at the end of the clip, it goes to black, right? So this is called your playhead right here. Now, you see some options for time that are showing up. This may look like 29 seconds to you, but it's not. It's 29 frames, and there are 30 frames per second generally set up in this program. So when I go to 30, it doesn't go to 31, it goes to 1 second. So it's 30 frames to 1 second. Bam. Alright. So I want you to place your playhead right there where you see a 1 on this setup. Okay? And at the end of this clip, I want you to drag it. I want you to hover your mouse right at the end, and I want you to drag this clip so that it stops right on that blue line. Bam. That set clip is now 1 second exactly. Okay? That's what we're looking for. Now, the source monitor is still empty. If I wanted to check the next image, if I wanted to go to my media over here and click on these images to figure out which one's which, I could do that. Double clicks on the image, pops up the image into the source panel so you can see which one's which. You could also cut it down to 1 second right here and bring in that 1 second. I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. But that's not the real problem here. The real problem with all of this is the link between your media and your folder. Okay? So now, I'm going to double click on this, or actually I'm just going to hover on this images clip. I don't want you to do this, I just want you to watch for a second. When I grab this images clip, or folder, and I drag it to my desktop, okay, it's going to change where everything is. Right here, all of a sudden, everything pops up red. I get this huge error that says link media. I just broke the link. If you read right here where it says file path, it says it's on the desktop in a still shots folder named images. Well, what I just did is I took it out of the still shot, so it should say desktop/images. So because that path's broken, everything in Premiere is broken as well, and it can no longer work with what you have. You have one of two options here. You can work with everything offline, which is going to look like this red, and it's going to be a mess. Or you can locate your media. So the first one I have here, in fact, I'm just going to find one that's easy. The animal chihuahua is where I'm going to go. So I'm going to click on locate. And this is going to give me a different version of the Finder, really. It's the same thing, it just looks different. Currently, it's going to my still shots. That's not correct. So I'm going to go above, where'd I go? I'm going to go above my still shots to desktop. And on the desktop, I can now see my images folder. If I click on that, I'll need to find the right image. So I was looking for animal, I guess I was looking for animal canine. So that's what I'm going to find here. Is I'm going to look for animal canine, which is right here. No, I was looking for chihuahua. I'm lying. So right there, chihuahua. And I'm going to hit OK. It's going to find that chihuahua, and as it does it, it's going to find all the rest of your media as well. I don't know why that picture's coming in like that. So I'll just delete that out. But you should be able to see all of your images now set and linked. You shouldn't have a problem with any of that. I don't know why that one's coming in like that. That's crazy looking. Looks fine over here. Huh. Alright. Now, another thing that happened when we created that timeline is that we created a timeline icon in our bin, in our project. This is the actual icon. It's green. You'll notice it looks like a little timeline. This is your actual project. So if I exited out of this timeline and double clicked on this one, my timeline would open to how I want it to be. You can have as many timelines as you want for a project. Sometimes clients will ask me to sync up things to different songs. So I'll have one video that has this song underneath it and one video that has this song underneath it. They're two completely different videos in my bin, but it's all in one project. Okay? So the main takeaway of today is making sure that you know how to relink your media. You know how to put your media into the project panel right here under images. You know how to relink it should a link get broken. So I'm going to drag my images file back here. It's going to unlink everything again, or it remembers the link from before, which is even better. Does that mean that picture is going to work now? Hey, nope. Alright. So, linking your media is key to working with this program. You need to make sure that all of your stuff is saved. So let's talk about your first project for a minute, your introduction video that you're going to be doing. You're going to introduce yourself to a class with a video. You're going to take a bunch of different videos, you're going to take some still shots of you potentially, and you're going to put them all on a folder on your desktop. Once they're on that folder on your desktop, you're going to come in and you're going to make sure that all of those in that folder have been dragged to your project folder here. If they're in your project folder, then you can work with them inside of Premiere. If they're not in your project folder, you cannot. It's as simple as that. If I get to this point and I start adding new images to that images folder, I'll have to either bring that images folder back in or file, import, and import the new images that I've added. Okay? So there's a constant stream of adding new media to this as you go. It's okay, I expect it to look like that, but make sure that you're linking it. Another thing, if it comes up and it's offline, or if you've gone offline for all, you do have an option under File to link media. It's grayed out now because it's all linked, but you do have that option to relink your media. Okay? Now, what I want you to do, your little project for today, is I want you to set your playhead at 1 second exactly. You can type this in here too. Just be careful that you put it in the right place. I'm going to add my images to my V1 layer. What is going on? And I'm going to shrink each one of these down to 1 second. So I want you to find all of your clips, all of your still shots, and I want you to move your playhead so that it's exactly on the 2 second, the 3 second, the 4 second mark. And then I want you to bring in your next clip and shrink it down. They should automatically kind of snap on the left hand side. So when I do this, notice that it kind of snaps right there. And then I can shrink this down so that it matches that 1 second. So get all of those in a line for me. There should be 8 in total. And then I want you to take a screenshot of this timeline. Okay? Make sure I can see your whole screen, but I need to see your timeline specifically. Okay? Take your screenshot, turn that into today's assignment. There should be 8 in total along the way. And then tomorrow we'll work on actually affecting and editing these clips some. Alright? So thank you so much. We'll see you in the next video.